What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GZ Chop Shop Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Greg, joined by my good friend and returning co-host, Ty, aka Burn X. If you guys are new to the podcast and you probably have no idea who he is actually one of my original co-hosts from way back in the day. Like when the show first started, he was there. Actually, before the show was even born, he was there.
Well, I'm not going to say that.
If you guys want the full story on that, well, you'll have to go elsewhere for that one. You'll have to go elsewhere for that. But
Long, convoluted, drunken story.
yeah, how the GZ Chop Shop came to be. But he's actually always been there. He's been working behind the scenes for the last few years, helping me out. So this is his return because Daniel has been busy. He's busy being a father, and his work schedule has kept him really, really busy. So Ty said, "You know what? I'm back. I can step back in." So, welcome back to
I'm
my
not in
brother
the Eastern
here.
Hemisphere anymore.
Yeah, he's in the same time zone as me. So that makes things a lot easier. But real quick housekeeping for you guys who have been wondering why we haven't put out episodes since May. Basically, in June, there was a lot of scheduling things. Daniel got really, really busy. So I said, you know what, let's just take a break for a month so he could focus on his kids and work. And I had planned to come back in July to do some episodes, but unfortunately, someone very close to me and my family passed away at the beginning of the month. So that obviously pushed a lot of things back, but now I'm starting to get back into the groove of things slowly but surely. And if you have already seen, we had the giveaway launch, and then the things happened with my family like right after I launched that. So that caused a lot of hiccups, but it was still running. But if you guys have taken part in the giveaway, it is still going. This is actually the last week before it wraps up. So make sure you get your entries in. If you've listened to the podcast, but you haven't joined the Press Play newsletter, this is the time. So make sure you go and join it. And even if you guys don't win, stay subscribed, because at a later date, we're going to have a subscriber only giveaway. So only those who are a part of the newsletter emailing list will have an opportunity. And if you listen to this podcast, you'll love the newsletter because it is the news directly from the source, no filler. It's just the facts sent straight to your inbox with, episode highlights, all right there. Not 100 million different, links and selling you products and stuff. It's just the gaming news as you want it, sent to your inbox. Boom. So go check it out. It'll be in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in that description. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcasting platform, it'll be in the episode description as well. So go check it out. It is definitely worth it. And it's free. It's absolutely free. You're getting all this news straight to your inbox for free. But we got a lot to cover. A lot has happened in the last 2 months. Holy crap.
Jesus.
So let's just start with the Stop Killing Games movement. It's reached 1.4 million signatures, which means the UK, I believe the Parliament or the FCC of the UK, they got to take it seriously now. And they had originally said they weren't going to push developers to make games available offline. I guess they didn't think that the signatures were going to happen, so they weren't going to take a stance. But now they have to, because 1.4 million signatures, and I think the requirement is like 1 million signatures. So they got to take it seriously now.
So for those that don't really know how this all kind of spiraled, a lot of people started feeling away when they found out Anthem randomly got told, hey, we're cutting off Anthem after 6 years of service, right? For some people, that came as a shock because a lot of people thought Anthem servers got shut down 5 years ago. For others, though, they have had a unique group that have been keeping it alive. Now, this kind of causes a problem, and it happens a lot in the online gaming community, especially like with old Call of Duties, where somebody will mod it online to keep the ecosystem alive. And then gaming company will come in and be like, hey, nah, we're shutting the server, right? People are starting to get annoyed by that. And rightfully so, because there's a ton of games that you can't play anymore because of things like this. Like, what was it? Haze for the PS3?
Yeah.
Couldn't play that after like a year or two because they shut the servers down. 90% of the mass multiplayer games that popped up during COVID, like Knockout, the dodgeball game that came out. Pick any sort of loot shooter that came out between 2018 and now. Those servers are pretty much dead minus a select few. And a lot of gamers are like, bro, I really enjoyed this game. Why would you shut the servers down? And their only reason for doing it is money.
Yep. Yeah. They basically are saying, you know, like all these games, they come out there, the older it gets, the more expensive it is to maintain. And to a degree, I understand that. But at the same time, let's not pretend that these aren't $1 million companies making millions upon millions a month off of microtransactions. And all the players are saying are, hey, look, if you can't keep a server running, then give it to the players or give us the means to do peer-to-peer connection that costs you guys nothing, and we'll keep the game alive and you don't have to do anything. And they're just like, no. And
You just have
basically
to
it
keep a
comes down
dedicated
to,
server.
yeah. And basically it comes down to what you said, money, because they know, well, we can't milk you guys anymore, and you having fun and us not making anything off of it just doesn't do us any good. And a huge issue is Ubisoft. And
Yeah. Well, half of it is Ubisoft.
yeah. Because they did it with The Crew. And I'm just going to say, Ubisoft, I'm going to let you know, I did not destroy my copy of The Crew 1, and nor am I going to destroy my copy of The Crew 1 because I paid the full price for my physical copy of The Crew 1. So yeah, the servers are offline, but I do not care what your new TOS says. Give me my money back and I'll destroy it.
God, if we go into the TOS, that's a whole other issue.
Yeah, that's a whole other problem they've got going on. But yeah, Ubisoft is a huge problem because they're so set on just killing the servers of their games. And I will say this, on free-to-play games, I kind of get it.
I don't bullshit. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have cursed like that.
But this is good because why do you, like, I can explain why I kind of get it. And by kind of, I mean like paper thin.
Like minuscule. Okay, so we all know the whole purpose of them making a free-to-play game is the revenue comes in the aspect of microtransactions, right? It's why Fortnite, I know you hate that red herring that I like to use, still is successful because their microtransactions helps pay for their game, right? Cool, I understand that. Apex, similar thing. That's a whole other conversation in on itself of my hate love for that game. The whole purpose of a video game has been lost to time post 2015, right? Gaming used to be about entertaining, not about long-term profits. So why are we so concerned about a game, whether you put it on free to play or not, making long-term profits? You will kill a game that is entertaining thousands or millions of people because of the fact people are like, yo, I don't want to do this microtransaction. And that's messed up. That's honestly messed up, right? And then like going back to Anthem, those people that shelled out 60, 100, 150, whichever version of the game they bought, now are pretty much asked out because one, they didn't get the product they paid for because of the fact they never truly updated that game the way that the player base hoped. And then two, cool, I spent all this money on this game. What do you mean I can't even play it anymore because y'all wanted to kill this? Same thing happened with the Avengers game. Like, yo, y'all killed the game after I spent my money on it, right? At least with free to play, sure, it's free to play, but the whole purpose of the gaming culture and the gaming community is entertainment and fun. Why are we so concerned about having a $1 billion selling game, which has only happened, honestly, like one time for a particular game, and that was GTA. Most games don't touch that high level of profit.
Yeah. And the only reason I said I could kind of paper thin understand with free to play games is you could realistically play that game without ever spending a dime in its entire lifetime. Will you have all the cool stuff? Will you be as kitted out as everyone else? Probably not, unless you grind and have no problem grinding. But if you're a passive, casual gamer, you could play the entirety of a free to play game without ever spending a dime. So at that point, it's really, really hard to be upset if, you know, they take it from you because you didn't put anything into it. But realistically, the majority of people playing it have put probably like well over $80 into it.
Something.
Like they put something into it.
But again, this goes back to what I was saying. Like, when did gaming stop being about entertainment? It started being about finances. More people, hell, you even see it amongst gamers. Oh my God, this game sold so many copies. That's not your game. That is that company's game. Shut the hell up. They're so worried about the liquid of it. And it's like, why are you worried about the liquid? If you enjoy the game, you enjoy the game, right? What does it matter how much it sells to you, the person that is the consumer, not the producer? That makes sense?
Yeah.
And that's my whole beef with it.
I think once the subscription models came into play, that's when we really started seeing the shift. And I mean that across the board. Like, I know Xbox comes to mind first when you talk subscription models in gaming, but PlayStation's right on their heels with it. They were right on their heels. Yep. And Nintendo, you know, everyone looks the other way when Nintendo gets involved in stuff, but yeah, Nintendo, they
you want to go there now?
Egg the other two on.
You want to go there now? We can go there. You ain't gonna like it.
You know what? Let's go there. Let's just go there, because I know you got some beef with all three of them right now.
I have beef with all three, but Nintendo's probably the biggest one. And if you are a Nintendo fan, I'm sorry. For those of you that have never met me, I am pessimistic. I am not optimistic at all. I've said this to Itachi, and I've said this to all of our friend group that knows me. Nintendo is the literal equivalent of that girl you dated in high school, and 10 years later, after y'all broke up, you're like, yo, she was this, she was that, and then you see her again, you're like, it really ain't nothing special, but you held her on a pedestal for so long, you can't let it go. The other thing I said was, in 2025, if you are willing to spend $500 for a PS4 Pro, good on you. That is what you're getting with the Switch 2. I am an avid gaming collector. I will purchase every system. Usually I will purchase it upon release. The Switch 2 is one of those times where my bougie ass self was like, yo, this is not worth it. Right? Mind you, I like Nintendo. Nintendo has dropped some gems for me, right? Especially in the RPG realm. However, $500+ for the equivalent of a PS4 Pro that you can walk around with is not ideal to me. And Nintendo knows they got everybody by the
nostalgic balls.
Yeah, because there's people that are praising Donkey Kong, and there's other people that are like, bro, this is Mario Odyssey with a gorilla. And it's like cool, I love DK. I really do love DK games, but it's just like, what are we doing here? Why are we letting Nintendo mess with us in such a way where they are able to now say, oh yeah, it's $80 for this game. Either pay it or sucks to suck. Have fun. And I'm not going to say the word I wanted to say at that point. This is supposed to be more family friendly, unlike the old days.
But but you're right, because when the Xbox and PlayStation community caught wind of $80 games, they were like, there was like a seething pushback, like, y'all better not do it. You better not. Don't do it. Better not. But when Nintendo was like, $80, that's what it's going to be. 4 games we already released once. We're releasing it again, updated, $80, no discussion. The Nintendo fans were like, yeah, that checks out. That's solid. I'm good.
And it's like, bro, what are y'all on that makes you say that rebuying Tears of the Kingdom or any of the Zelda games sounds like a good idea to pay $80 for? Like, is it really that much of an improvement graphically? And I can answer that question, no, it's not, that you feel is necessary for it. And that's my beef with Nintendo. Is everybody wants to label Nintendo the good guys, but they have been the slimy people probably for the last like 15 years. They just get away with it because either Sony does something stupid or Microsoft does something stupid. Granted, they both like to do stupid shit.
Yeah. I mean, and it also probably helps them that they're the oldest of the three, the big three, so to speak. I mean, they're well over 100 years old. So,
I don't give a shit.
but and it's like nobody is going to call them out on it. And I'm going to say one of the reasons too is Nintendo is the ultimate babysitter, and a lot of people. And what happened at the Game Awards, that's why I say I think Nintendo is going to sneak up from behind at this year's Game Awards with their games, because last year Astrobot, which by the way, I got no beef with Astrobot. A good game is a good game if deserved to win.
Yeah.
But it showed that there's a huge market still for mascot like family friendly platformer games, which Nintendo helped literally pioneer.
Yes. Okay. Platformers have a place. Absolutely do. Platformers have a place. Platformers are amazing games that people nowadays don't have the attention span for, which is stupid as hell to me. Besides the point, we should not give Nintendo a pass to be like, we should be able to put out whatever we want and it be nominated Game of the Year, or it should win Game of the Year because of that. Because I'm going to be honest, we are 7 months into the year, almost 8 months into the year, right? I don't care what your gaming type is. Everybody and their mom has heard positive news about Clair Obscur. And until I see a game have the fanfare that this AA game that released a few months back have, I don't want to hear nobody else say a game deserves to win other than that this year. So in the next 4 to 5 months, if a game can top the fanfare, the critical acclaim, and the love that that studio gave to everybody else, I don't want to hear it. And that sounds biased as hell, but what are we doing?
No, I agree with you. And, you know, a lot of people were like, you know, Hideo Kojima dropped Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Phenomenal game. I'm addicted. I love it. But I would still give it to Clair Obscur.
Right.
I have like almost like 100 hours in Death Stranding 2 and over 160 in Clair Obscur. And I'm like, yeah, Clair Obscur still, just because it hit all the right notes. You know, it's a well-written story. The world, it pulls you in. You don't feel like you're just laying out. You feel like you're a part of that party. Like you build a bond with the characters. You understand all their viewpoints.
Rips you away from it, but still.
You know, it gives you a little sadness at times, but and don't even get me started on the music. I listen to that soundtrack by itself.
That game should be a gold standard for a lot of companies to be like, hey, yeah, they did this. To quote Obadiah Stane, he did this with a box of scraps in the cave. Like, I'm not saying that's what they did, but they did more with less than these AAA studios did.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yep. Activision, you're about to catch one. Anyway, so look at COD. Look at Black Ops 6, right? Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3. Look at how fast those games lost a lot of their fanfare after a couple months. Hell, Black Ops 6 lost its fanfare quicker than Modern Warfare 3. And Modern Warfare 3, for a lot of people, was garbage, and Black Ops 6 was the praised one.
Yeah. I actually forgot Black Ops 6 came out, to be completely honest.
Yeah, it's still going, and they're talking about Black Ops 7, and it's the next one. But again, a whole other beef.
No, but that's a valid point, because it's still coming full circle. It became all about profits over actually creating deep stories and considering the gamer. Like a lot of these and I don't want to say developers, a lot of the blame falls on the developers, but the investors and shareholders that have the final say
Want a game that is lucrative. They want that liquid. And granted, I get it. Everybody selling a product wants to make the most with that product. They wanna be above what their line is. And I understand that. And I'm not disrespecting nobody with that. But at the same time, going back, like you said, full circle, when did gaming stop being about entertaining and started becoming about profit margin?
Yeah. I'm sure there's a point in time we could put a finger on it, but it would take some research and more time than we have in this episode. So we'll definitely have to, this could be a whole
Whole
episode
time.
in itself. But yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think on it? What are your thoughts on the Stop Killing Games movement? Have you signed the petition? Do you support it? Do you agree with the companies that they have the right to axe off their games without offering a, compensation to the players that have supported it all through the years?
Shit,
We'd
give me
love to
my
hear your
money
thoughts
back.
on it. But the next order of business, Xbox and PlayStation. I got to say those together because I know like the Xbox community gets up in arms anytime we talk about when Xbox does something, but Xbox and PlayStation, we each got beef with them right now.
Yeah, we do.
So for those who don't know, and I'm pretty sure by now everybody should know, once again, Microsoft has laid off 9,000 employees from the Xbox gaming division. It seems like every year they keep trying to outdo themselves in how many people they can lay off in total, and they keep cutting into the Xbox division. And I said this. In fact, you and I talked about it years ago when the deal first got mentioned that they wanted to buy and merge with Activision Blizzard. I was like, that's going to be a bad idea because, yeah, Microsoft's got the money, but they're going to want that money back and they're
And
going to have to cut costs.
And the model does not equal out to be lucrative. People love to praise, and this also goes with PlayStation. People love to praise Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. However, Game Pass does it way worse than PlayStation Plus because PlayStation is hard headed, but that's another beef in its own. Game Pass is like, oh, we're gonna give you what you want. Day one releases, all this other stuff. Cool. I only gotta pay $20 a month. Cool. That $20 a month does not sustain them dropping $50 billion on anything. Multiple $20 a month does not do it for them, right? Because they still have to pay back that $50 billion plus whatever games they helped develop along the way. Hence why Scalebound got Canex.
Perfect Dark.
Canex. There's so many games that got cut because of the fact they had to cut corners to make back profits because of the fact, hey, we made this purchase. Oh no, we're not making enough money. Oops. But people don't want to hear that. And they're like, oh my God, Game Pass is all this other stuff. And then it's like, y'all don't understand my hate for Game Pass, even though it's a good system in theory.
To the consumer, for the consumer, it's a great bargain. No doubt about it.
I don't have to purchase a game. I can have this game for as long as I want. All I had to do is pay $20 and it's all these downloads. Cool. Till that game company goes bankrupt.
What was the studio? What was it? Sunset Overdrive?
Talking about Tangent. Or
yeah.
I think it's
studio
Tangent.
that created that game. Phenomenal game. Well praised. Now Tango Gameworks. I think it was.
Yeah, that's
Tango Gameworks. And they closed the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was confused. Like, what do you mean? This was a phenomenal game. People loved it. Yeah. But I'm telling you, the money wasn't there because if you offer your consumers, and I'm not saying that everyone who uses Game Pass is part of the problem. No, you use what is provided to you. It's a product that's provided to you. You're using the product as intended.
Mm-hmm.
But also understand the risk that comes with such a product. Your $20, and a lot of people go, why? If I like the game, I still buy it. That's great. But on average, 80% of you are not going to buy every game that you like.
And you were thinking
you might buy Rush. Starfield, and then this person buys Clair Obscur.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not going to balance out in the long term because your $20 is getting split 100 different ways before it even gets to the developer.
Right. But you heard me, right? You were thinking not Sunset Overdrive. Jesus. Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. That's what it is. Hi-Fi
Sunset
Rush.
Overdrive. I was like, hold on. I was like, I know Sunset Overdrive. I love both those games. Do not get me wrong. You know I purchased both of those with pride.
Had the right studio, wrong game.
Yeah. Sunset Overdrive was Insomniac. But yeah, it's like, cool, great. Y'all made this phenomenal game that did gangbusters, right? The studio still closed down because they didn't have the money and y'all just don't understand it.
Yeah. One thing and the only thing is Microsoft is just so determined to push the subscription model, they don't want to admit it's hurting them. They don't want to admit it's costing them more than they're making. So they want everyone to join in and do a universal subscription model, because then all of them would be in the same boat together. And a lot of people, the less friendly part of the Xbox community, they're like, well, be grateful PlayStation's getting our games and yeah, you guys, and I'm like, you guys don't realize why that's happening, right?
Y'all not producing enough. Like, y'all not getting the sales that y'all need. So, like, yeah, we're getting, like, PlayStation is getting those games, but do y'all understand the reason they're getting those games is because they're not
You're not
getting
buying
sold.
those games.
It's like, yes, y'all can love day one exclusives. Cool. I love that for you. But unless you are that rare, and I do mean this, rare percentile that tries the game out on Game Pass and it turns around and buys it after they like play it for a few hours, which no, you're not. Very few people do that. I can honestly count on one hand the amount of games I played on Game Pass and then turn around and purchase like right after playing it for just a little bit. Hi-Fi Rush was one of those games that I did that for. But I'm not about to purchase a goddamn game when it's like I can just have this on Game Pass and it's not going nowhere any real quick. Let me go beat this real quick. Gears of War.
And I have a few friends who they blatantly admitted, they said if it's not on Game Pass, they don't play it. And once it leaves Game Pass, that's the end of it. They have an Xbox and they're like, I play my games on Game Pass. And I'm like, hey, did you get this game? And they're like, is it on Game Pass? And I'm like, I think so. And they're like, if it is, I'll play it. If it isn't, I'm not playing it. And I'm like, I can't be mad at you. You're using your subscription the way it was intended.
Yeah. But it's like, on one hand, cool, great. You're being good with your money. Mm-hmm. That's the best way I can word it. You're being really good with your money, right? You're not out here shelling out hundreds upon hundreds, maybe even $1,000 in a year for your hobby. And I love that for you, right? I wish I could do the same thing because there's looking at you, 2017, looking at you.
This year, I'm looking at this year.
Nah, do you remember my 2017 collection of games?
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a repeat.
I don't know if it's going to be that bad. I don't know.
It's going to be that bad for me. I'm looking
at that hookup that I had
David
before.
Machina and the end of the year, Metal Gear Solid and Borderlands 4. Well, actually, don't even get me started on 2K. Anyway, finish your thought.
But it's people like to use this is benefiting us without really realizing how much it hurts and harbors a negative effect on the companies themselves, right? I am not pro Xbox. I'm not pro Microsoft. I am not pro PlayStation. I'm not pro Nintendo. I want all those workers to get their just in. Yeah. When you lay off 9,000 people from the gaming division that helps develop your games, I have a problem, because that basically tells me you don't care about the games themselves. You are only concerned with the profit.
Yep. And then some of the employees from ZeniMax even spoke out because Bethesda's lost people in that wave. And and they've lost people that were working on Elder Scrolls Online that keep that game running. And they're like, we're talking 15 years of experience that you guys just let go. That people have come in and they only got 6 months that they've learned it. And you want them to take over for someone who's had 15 years that you just shuttered. And then, apparently the leadership, Matt Booty, Phil Spencer, they're not communicating with the people, as they've said, in the trenches. They're just sending out this email, no notice. People are sitting at work wondering, am I on the chopping block? Coming to find out, pack your things, go home. You're at the end of the line. And they're letting all these people, all these essential people go, closing studios. And it's like, and then to add insult to injury, you turn around and post not only that you're hiring for a graphic designer, but you used an AI image on top of that.
You raggedy, I can't say.
I don't know what's going on over at Microsoft, but it is not looking good. It is not looking good. It's like they looked at Nintendo and was like, oh man,
we could one up you.
Yeah, Nintendo's taking all the heat. No. It's got to be about us. Let's step up our game and do something real stupid. And here we are. It's like, Wow. But I hope all of those 9,000 that they can get jobs at a studio, someplace with some security. Cause right now the employees, they're saying it's like a graveyard, and they, Microsoft is saying, oh, this is to make our workspace more efficient. They're like, yeah, no, that's having the opposite effect, because I don't know if I'm going to be laid off tomorrow.
And then to make it worse, it's like, all right, y'all are saying y'all can lay off all these people. And then on top of that, now all these people that are still there has to do double the work.
Double the work. Yeah. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for any of them. Cause I think, and on the term of PlayStation, aren't they in the middle of another lawsuit again?
Yep. So PlayStation, right? Just in case y'all are wondering, we are kicking everyone's back in. I don't care. PlayStation, U.S. Justice rejected their Sony settlement over PlayStation game sales, right? AKA the thing that has been the big red flag of Sony since PS3. People have been like, hey, why is it that y'all can sell y'all games online, just online? I can't buy a card for it. I can't do anything with it. And y'all can have it at whatever price y'all want.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they don't go out of their way and make it above the price that it is in store, but it's like, I can't go do like people had with Nintendo or with Microsoft, purchase a game card from like Best Buy or some shit like that and call it a day. Sony was like, nope, you can't do that with us. Screw you. Either buy our game on the PlayStation Store itself, and if it's not on the PlayStation Store and you could buy it out in a physical version, you could buy it in a physical version. But if it's only on the PlayStation Network, this is the only place you can buy it, which is messed up. Sony, if y'all get sued, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah. The fact that they I don't understand their logic and their like animosity to allowing like third party marketing. They basically follow kind of like how Nintendo never has sales, but when they do, it's for like games that most people probably aren't even playing. It's very rare that they put their own IPs on sale. And it's like Sony is like, no one else can ever sell our games, period. And it's like,
yeah.
But why? Are you guys still holding a grudge against Best Buy? Is this
my point about
part of the
2017?
thing?
My point about 2017.
Like,
Or when did Borderlands
because I
3
think
come
that's
out?
one of the reasons they killed PlayStation Rewards. They didn't realize how
Highway robbery.
fiendish people would be making points.
Highway robbery.
And they were like, they probably lost more money than they thought. And I'm like, yeah, no, because people get gift cards, they get wallets, and it's not even their money. They drop $50 on one game, they get those points, and
Next thing you know,
put that
you
money in their
gotta
wallet.
get $40 off.
Yeah. I'm like, because I use those points to cover the state tax for my digital purchases, because the state of Pennsylvania freaking sucks when it comes to digital purchase tax. So I was using it to cover the tax. So I actually was paying the flat fee for my game.
Nah, I use
Sorry,
those
Sony.
points disgustingly. Between free games and when they had the $20 off, the $20 off, God, I had like 5 of them stacked up one time. I had purchased Bleach.
I had one time, I think it was like $20 worth of games that were on sale for really low, and I used all the points to get like several 5 and 10s. So I didn't spend anything. It was like, it was a treat on Sony, and I was like, thank you, Sony. And then that's when Sony's like, yeah, no, we can't keep this. We can't do this anymore.
You're out here taking all our money.
Yeah. And I'm so sick of my personal gripe too with PlayStation. Stop introducing phenomenal things
and then killing
it
a year later.
That drives me insane. Or stop supporting it a year later. Like the VR2 is getting a comeback, but like a year later, they were already like, yeah, we're going to start calming down support on it. What do you mean? You just
because I just started the support for VR, the first VR system. And then they're like, oh yeah, VR2 is coming out. Like, bro, what? Y'all just started really supporting this.
And they did it again with the VR2. I get it. And I'm like, sweet. You learned from the first time. They're like, oh, it didn't sell as well, so we're going to wind down support. Give it time.
Let people actually buy the damn thing.
Yeah, like a lot of people just barely got your system. Of course, they're not going to run out the door to get the VR2 right away. They're recovering from just getting a PlayStation 5.
Right. It took people, what, 3 years just to, like, for Sony to really start bouncing back with the 5?
Hello, I'm one of those late bloomers.
Not I, you know me.
Yeah, you were one of the fortunate ones. And then like not long after I get it, they're like,
Here's the Pro.
yeah, here's the Pro. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm good. I usually do like you. I'm like, I would go get the system when it comes out back to back just to have it. But I
I,
don't like how fast, and I say fast because the concept of time changes as you get older. They are still, for the most part, following their usual timeline. But it seems like what they do is Sony will release their new system, but nothing for it after its initial launch.
they've
And
been
then
doing
there'll
it
be a
since
lull.
PS.
Yeah, there'll be a lull for like the first 3 years. And then as the life cycle is halfway towards ending, then they start cranking out these bangers. And the next thing you know, they're like PS6. And we're like, but wait, hold on. We just got the PS5. And they're like, ooh, yeah, actually, it's already been 5 years.
Yeah, because they have a nasty habit of 8 years on average. 8 years before they do a new console, right? Because what was it? PS2, PS3 was 7, I think.
Yeah, PS3 is about 7 years.
PS3 to PS4 was 7 to 8. PS4 to PS5 was 8. Yeah, it was 8. No. It was 7. Yeah, because what was it? PS2 was 2001. Yeah, was 01. PS3 was 07. Yeah,
Yeah,
06, 07.
PS3 07.
PS4 was 13. PS5 was 21. No, 20. Yeah, PS5 was 20 because it
Yeah.
came out in
So
November of
6 to
21.
7 years is the average life cycle. So you're right. Yeah, like 7 years for each one.
So it's
So we're
like,
2 years away from them saying that PS5 we're in its end phase.
and I hope they don't, because unlike all those other consoles we just named, well, on all the other systems we just named, PS5's library isn't that big.
No, its original library is very minuscule. The thing that they're doing, and a lot of fans have called it out. And this is the one time I did agree with the Xbox community. I hate to say that, but they weren't wrong. They chug out a lot of remasters.
Yes.
And they're very good at reselling us something we've already played or bought once. Because what happens is, and Days Gone and a lot of like they're just like little updates. They're not full on remakes. They're not rebuilt from the ground up.
Horizon did not need a
Remaster. If
Game
Horizon
came
was
out
on
on
PS3,
PS4
I could
towards
have
the end
understood
of
that.
life.
Yeah. I could have understood that if it was a PS3 game, which my other bone to pick with them is rumors are that the PS5 could be capable of backwards compatibility with the PS3, but they're probably holding out for the PS6 to make it its selling point.
Yep. I heard that too.
I am not okay with that.
They were like, oh yeah, we can have backwards compatibility. We can even bring back the PS3's vast library, but we want that liquid selling point, which, cool, I get it with your hardware. That's what you're worried about. Your hardware is your selling point. There's too many games that sold on PS3 that I still can't even play with a PlayStation subscription.
And it's weird the ones they do pick. I get confused on what the ones they select.
That you can only stream.
And I'm like, give them all or none. Like, don't throw teasers and then get me invested and then take them away to replace them with something else. And then I'm like, just give me the whole library.
Like, don't get me wrong. I will forever love Sony for dropping Legends of Dragon. My love for that game is too high. However, your system has a vast library. Why is it we only have about 20%? I know it's a lot to maintain, and I understand that. However, y'all also have a lot of games that y'all could easily put on there instead of Qbert.
Even if you don't want to stream it and you say, okay, well, managing and setting up a stream, it costs money. I promise you, if you made those games available, people would buy them.
Mm-hmm.
They would buy them. And the thing is, this is where Sony is grimy. They know most console gamers trade up. Most of them are not collectors. They play what is current and new, and then they have that quick nostalgia kick that they go rebuy a game that they traded in years ago. And I look and I'm like, and Sony, I told you this before. I said Sony is very slick. Them and Bandai Namco, they got a little teamwork thing going on. Tales of Symphonia, I will forever have this gripe. Tales of Symphonia
should not be a $50 game.
And the thing is, that remaster, if you guys paid for the PS4 update remaster and you don't remember the PS3 days, you got robbed.
Mm-hmm.
Because the original HD remaster of Tales of Symphonia not only came with the first game, but the second game on one disc for like, what was the price back in the PS3? $60?
It was no, that game was like 30 or 40.
And they resold it to you without the second game for more. This is why I kept my PS3. This is exactly why.
If we talk about Bandai Namco, I'm going to end up bringing up Tekken, and there's a reason. Oh. Sadly enough, I haven't been a big fighting game fan this year. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, because usually you would have been all over. Like, after you've platinum Tekken, you were kind of like, yeah, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. That was it.
Since I came back to the States.
I don't like what they're doing with the characters and the stages. I said I would come back to it once they're done and they've left the game alone and they're done with it. I said, then I'll come back and get everyone because, and I get it, Street Fighter's doing the same thing.
Yes and no. And we've had this conversation in private, but I'll share it with the people. Yeah, they are doing the purchases and everything else like that for fighting games. All fighting games have a game pass for extra characters. However, what Street Fighter is doing is, hey, here's 6 characters. Well, here's 4 characters. You can pay $30 for these characters. Whatever stage they come with. Whatever extra outfit they have, you'll get. There's a third outfit you got to purchase. Right? Cool. Do I necessarily agree with it? No, I hate having to purchase my characters. Why can't I earn them like the good old days? But whatever, that's just me being old, right? Even though I still purchase them anyway. What Tekken did was nasty work. Tekken, hey, here's the battle pass. Purchase our battle pass. Cool. Got it. Hey, here's Heihachi. Cool. Here's an extra story. Cool. You can't use the stage unless you pay $5 extra for it. Huh?
Yeah, paying for a stage is crazy.
Yeah, you gotta pay $5.99 for the extra stage. And I know some people are like, oh, it smells like broken here. You can't afford $5? I can afford $5. That's not my problem. My problem is, why am I able to get this character and not get their stage to go with the character? Right?
Yeah.
So then they got a bunch of crap for it. So they're like, we're sorry.
But we're not changing it.
Here's Clive. Cool. His stage is free. Uh-huh. What's the catch? Oh, we're going back to our old model. You raggedy mother. You know what?
Yeah. And I will say, at least Capcom is kind of like doing, it's like, it's all or nothing. You pay for all of the characters and then you're good. You're done. Or you don't pay the thing and you get none of them.
And that's my thing with Capcom. Capcom has been my favorite gaming company since their renaissances came back. Because for those that don't know, Capcom had a great moment in the 90s, went into a lull in the 2000s, and then we had a gaming renaissance around the time of Street Fighter 4. Well, fighting game renaissance around the time of Street Fighter 4, right? Started getting pushed. Capcom got a big ego boost for Street Fighter 4, and then started doing wild things. Looking at you, Street Fighter Cross Tech, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They started charging for things that were already in game, and people found out, and Capcom took that to the face and was like, yo, we're sorry. Then they started becoming the good guys again. They were like, we're sorry, we messed up, we shouldn't have did this to y'all. Y'all are our support system. And then they started working with people. roughly around the time when Resident Evil 2 remake came out. And that is when Capcom had their renaissance, and you will never hear me talk negative about Capcom.
Yeah.
Even Exo Primal, as not great as that game was, they still did not do people shady.
Yeah. They didn't just abandon it.
No.
So, yeah. But once again, so many topics. Like I said, there's so much to cover, not enough time in an episode to cover it all. We try to keep these episodes that fit into your guys' lunch breaks. I know some of you probably only have 30-minute lunch break, but if you happen to have an hour, we try to squeeze it in so you guys can get that. But we would love to delve into these topics more. So if you guys want us to delve into it more, let us know in the comments under the YouTube video, or, send us a message on our website. You guys can go visit it, gzchopshoppodcast.com. And once again, if you have not already subscribed to our Press Play newsletter, you definitely should. It is absolutely worth it. We don't clutter your email. It is a weekly, sometimes bi-weekly if there's not a lot going on, email. So you'll get it once a week and then it's done. So you don't have to worry about like super newsletter cluttered spam, because I hate that. But anyway, don't forget the giveaway wraps up July 1st. Our winner will be drawn on the 1st. So if you have not entered in for our $50 Steam gift card giveaway, now's the time. Clock's ticking. We're going to wrap it up. It's a celebration for 7 years of the GZ Chop Shop Gaming Podcast, in case you guys did not know that.
All because
we've been going
sugars.
strong. It's been going strong. And this will not be the last time you see Ty. He is going to be on episodes more regularly. So, a lot to look forward to when the three of us get together. The show is only going to get better from here.
It's going to look like an Oreo.
It's going to be a good time. And yeah, it's going to be an Oreo episode. But you guys have been amazing. Take care of yourself and each other. And we'll catch all you wonderful people on the next podcast. Later.